Thank you everyone for all of the requests. In this update, we've added a SuperTrend Indicator and also an auto position size option. If you're looking for a free trial of the Predator, head over to Discord. The invite link is going to be in the description down below. Once you're in there, go to the Reversal Predator room, download the latest file. There's no need for credit cards or any additional info. Just import it into NinjaTrader 8 and the 7-day trial will start automatically. But with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. And to get things started, we're heading over to our control section. And here you're going to find a position size calculate. With this new feature, we have two different options. You have a custom position, which is going to leave everything exactly how it was before. With custom position, you can go to each individual order and customize the position size that you want. But now, if you want the Predator to automatically calculate your position size, you can head over to the auto position option. And what this is going to do is it's going to take the current price when your order is set. It's going to take the price of your initial stop. It's going to use that range and apply a formula to find your position size. So if you were to get stopped out, you would only lose around the risk per trade amount that you have selected beforehand. Now, I want to be clear, this is not a kill switch. This formula is not perfect every time. It's not going to stop as soon as it reaches this amount. Now, in reality, because of tick size, tick value, and even slippage, all of these things make it so if you do get stopped out, you will most likely lose a little bit more or a little bit less than your predetermined risk size. This formula is meant to get the best position size for your risk amount, but by no means is it 100% perfect, especially when it comes to futures. All right, so let's go through the options. First, you have your risk per trade, and this is how many dollars you're willing to risk per trade. And again, guys, this is more of an estimate. It's not 100% perfect when it comes to futures. Next up is your max position size. And what this does is if the formula determines your position size is much higher than you like, this will cap the position size you enter with. So there's no scenario where your position size will be bigger than this number. In this case, 10. Now, our next option is our stop selector. When we're doing our auto position size, all of our stops must be in the same place in order for our formula to be correct. So whatever you do with this will also affect all of your other orders. In fact, you'll see when you go down to your order 1, 2, or 3, you will no longer have the stop selector method down here because all of them will be determined by what you select up here. So for this one, I'm just going to do candle stop for our example. And just like our other stop methods, we also have our tick offset. So right now we have just one order set, and this up here will automatically calculate your position size for that one order. But now what happens if we add a second order? So I'm going to go here, enable market, and I'm going to set this to an R profit just to get the limit order a little farther away. And let's go back up here. So now you will find a percent allocation order 1. And what this does is it's going to take your total position size from this calculation and it's going to allocate this percentage to your first order. Then your second order will just get the remainder of your position size. So for example, let's say your total position size for the entire order is 10 contracts. 50% of the 10 contracts, so 5, will go to your first order, and then the remaining 5 will go to your second order. But now let's add a third order as well. This one, again, I'm going to give it an R profit just to get the limit order a little farther away. And when you come up here, you will now see percent allocation order 1 and order 2. And what these do is, again, it's going to take your total position size. It's going to allocate this percentage to your first order. So in this case, 50% of the entire position size goes to order number 1. Then 30% of the total position size will go to order number 2. And then whatever is left over we'll go to your order number 3. It's very important that these two numbers don't go past 100 when you add them together. So for example, if you go 50 and 70, that is 120% of the entire position size. This could lead to a much higher position size than you're intending. You will get a warning message when you try and load the strategy. You can still go ahead and use it. It's just not recommended. So both of these numbers should be less than 100 combined. So I'm going to leave that at 50, then 30% for order 2, and then the last remaining 20% will go to order number 3. All right, let's hit apply, hit OK, and let's see this in action.
Order filled.
So here we are filled. Let me pull this up just so we can get a visual. So here the formula determined our position size should be 8 based on the price we entered and where our stop got set. So again, 50% of the entire order went to order number 1. So that is 4 contracts. Then 30% went to order number 2. And the remaining 20%, which in this case, they were probably close enough where it rounded them to be the same position size for order 2 and the remaining. So it didn't split them in this case. If there was a higher percentage difference between order 2 and order 3, you might have seen these split up a little bit more. But in this scenario, they were close enough and the formula determined they should be the same. So let's get out of here and hit play and see if we get stopped out.
Order filled.
So here, when we hit our stop, we have negative 253. If we look at our risk size, it was a risk per trade of $250. This is actually one of the closer ones. In reality, you might see $30, $40, $50 difference, all depending on your risk per trade and the actual stop price. And one last thing with the auto position size, the minimum amount is 1 per order. So if the formula determines your position size should be less than 1, it will set your position size to 1 for each order you have open. And again, guys, this formula is not 100% perfect, especially when it comes to futures. This is good mainly if you're someone who changes bar sizes a lot and you like using the candle stop method, because your stop will always get set at a different level. This will help keep your risk size pretty uniform no matter what bar size you're using. But you should still try and have some sort of idea of what to expect when using this. So please try it out on a sim first, just to get a better understanding of how it works. But with that, guys, we're moving on to SuperTrend. All right, now let's talk about SuperTrend. And I can't even count how many requests I had for this one, but it is finally here. One thing though, I did not write this indicator. This one can be found in the NinjaTrader user app share ecosystem. You can download it from the link down in the description. All right, to activate your SuperTrend, go down to your indicators, select the use indicator, and scroll down to your SuperTrend option. And from here, you can define your SuperTrend. These are the default options that come when you download the indicator. So I just left them like that. You guys can customize this to your own liking. You have your period, your multiplier, your moving average. And now, if you just select the use SuperTrend option with no other option selected, that is just going to populate the SuperTrend. It's not going to interact with any of your trades. It's not going to affect them. It's more or less just going to be there as a visual for you. So for example, I'm going to just mark this candle, and I'm going to mark these candles up here that are highlighted. Now I'm going to disable it, and we're going to go back into the strategy and scroll down to your SuperTrend. And now we have the option to filter your automatic entries based on the SuperTrend. And what this is going to do is it's just going to filter your bullish trends need to be above the uptrend, that's the green SuperTrend line, and your bearish trades need to be below the downtrend red line. So let's hit apply and see how that looks on a chart. And now we can see the ones we marked before that were highlighted are no longer highlighted once we filter them out. This is because your bearish reversal is above your green line. So that is not valid for a bearish short. And down here, your bullish reversal is below your red line. So it is not valid for a long. When you filter out your trades by the SuperTrend, only the ones highlighted in a different color are going to be valid for a trade if all other conditions also meet the criteria for the trade. So for example, if we look at this side of the chart, this engulfing candle, all these reversals, they are valid for a short because they are under your downtrend red line. And now if we look at this side of the chart, all of these bullish reversals and bullish engulfing candles are valid for longs because they are above your uptrend green line. And guys, if you need more explanations, we're going to update the user manual with full screenshots and explanations of each option so you guys can get a better understanding of how this works. But basically, bearish has to be under the red line, bullish has to be over the green line. Okay, let's go back into our parameters and go back down to your SuperTrend. So now I know many of you like to enter based on the break of the SuperTrend. So here we have this option, you can select it. And now when it crosses a SuperTrend direction and it switches sides, it's going to enter you into a position. And I will show you how that works in just a minute. But we also added an extra stop selector method. And now you can set your stop right at the SuperTrend. With this option, when you enter long, it's going to set it at the bottom green line. If you enter short, it's going to set your stop at the top red line. And now you can set this stop whether you're using auto position or if you're using a custom position size, you'll be able to set it for each individual order as well. And on top of all that, we also added a new trail method where it will trail your SuperTrend. With the SuperTrend trail, you can set your tick offset. That's how many ticks away from the actual SuperTrend price. You can set the SuperTrend trail period. That is how many candles back you want to trail. By default, it's going to be set at 1. That is the minimum amount you can look back. Next, you're going to see a note to see the SuperTrend parameters because everything is going to be set based on what you select here. And your trigger distance, this is how much the price has to move in your direction before the trail starts. So for example, if you want to trail right away, you don't want to waste any time, you want to make sure it's trailing right off the bat, I usually go to R distance and change this to something like 0.01. That way it will almost definitely trigger as soon as you enter. And I'm going to do this for each order. And that's our last order. So now I have my SuperTrend. I don't really need to filter for auto entries because it's already entering at the break of the trend. You can keep that on if you also plan on using your reversal or engulfing or bars in a row. For this example, I'm going to actually turn all of these off. And I'm just going to enter based on the break. So once we have all of that, let's hit apply, okay, and enable. And we're going to hit play. Now, when it breaks below the SuperTrend, it's going to enter short. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit.
Order filled.
Okay, so here it broke below the SuperTrend and it entered a short position. Again, we still have that auto position size on there, so it just split up our order. And I'm going to move this down a bit. And now you'll see it's going to keep trailing down this super trend. So let's hit play again. And let's see, we get stopped out. Nope, it just keeps trailing down. I'm just going to, again, move these. I don't really want to hit a profit just for the video. Let's hit again and keep going.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Okay, so there we got stopped out, and now we crossed in the opposite direction. So now we are going long on the super trend. And let's hit play again. And it's just going to keep trailing up that new super trend.
Order submitted.
Until we get stopped out, and it just keeps doing that over and over. If you do plan on entering with the super trend cross, I do recommend turning these off, or else they could interfere with your trade in a way you're not really expecting. But again, that is completely up to you and how you choose to trade. But that's it for this one. I hope you guys found it useful. Links for everything are going to be down below. But as always, take care, enjoy.